Okay, so we've talking about the kit itself, so now we're on to packing it. So as you see, I've waterproofed all my stuff. It's in the waterproof bags. So what you're going to do first, if you've got a roll mat like this, put this in first. You don't want to pack it all and forget to put your roll mat in. A big face palm moment. That goes in there like that, because it doesn't necessarily be waterproof because everything else is. Then you want to put your Bergen liners in. So I'm putting my main compartment liner in there. Like so. You might as well do your side pouches at the same time. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Yeah, just make sure the seams are the right way around as well. We do it. There you go. So now everything's good to go in there. So the first thing that's going to go in, though, there's a concept for this really. Now we're ready to pack our stuff, the actual things we need, is whatever goes in the bottom is the one that's used the least often and is the least important, like the used less frequently. So obviously we're only going to use this once a day for a few hours, the DOS bag, so that's going to go in first. We want to conserve space as well, we want to make this smaller and as tight as possible. So we're not just going to put this in the way it wants to, we're going to make it fit the container as much as possible. The way to get it down nice and small is to twist it around like so. Do it like as much as you can. That makes it nice and small like that. Try and obviously make sure it doesn't poke out because this adds to the waterproofing aspect. And obviously notice I put the bivy bag, the same bag in the bivy bag before I'm packing it, so all you need to do is take it out when you're using it. That goes in there like so. And then you want to really squidge it down and then make sure your boots are clean. Just really press down on it like that. Really get it in right at home. Gives you more space. So next thing to go in the main compartment, again, things you're not going to use unless you kind of stopped to take your Bergen off and get things out of it. So kind of spare tops and underwear, stuff like that. Your dry top, not spare, because you're only using wet and dry, so there's no spares to say you have your wet kit and your dry kit. So your dry kit goes in here, your dry socks, your dry top, your dry trousers, your warm kit, your jumper, stuff like that. Gary socks, going in there. All that good stuff. With socks, I didn't mention before, these are probably the one things you can be slightly indulgent on, as in bringing more than you think you need. But what I'm saying is don't cut back on those. Don't be like, oh, I won't bring more socks just to cut back on them. I'm not saying bring loads, but once for every 2 days is probably the minimum you want. So that's everything in the main compartment. You might want to bring spare ones of those, but I won't get into that too much now. Now the rain jacket, you're probably thinking, why is he not waterproof his rain jacket? Well, if it's raining, you're going to put your rain jacket on, aren't you? So you want this in somewhere accessible. So either just under the top flap so you can just pull it out, or in one of the side pouches. We'll do that now. So we'll pack the side pouches now. Mostly I'll put in here is food and snacks and whatnot, because then you can just say, oh mate, can you open my side pouch and get XYZ out? Or can you get my rain jacket out? Stuff like that. Same goes for your gloves. You might need those, so those are going in there. So obviously food is going to be a good bit of your weight, whatever it may be. As I'm doing this, I'll talk about food now. So don't bring things like meal deals. I've seen that done before. Don't do that. Don't bring perishable things. Try and bring things like chorizo. Try and bring things like, pasta's not great because it's a ball ache to cook, but instant noodles, they can be alright. Obviously these boil in the bags are ideal. This doesn't really matter where it goes, deep in the side pouch, at the bottom of the side pouch maybe. Put the rain jacket afterwards, because obviously you want your rain jacket near the top. But yeah, things in terms of food, nothing crazy. Don't bring things that take up loads of food, weigh a lot. Because tinned food can be alright, because it will last a long time. But again, you've got a tin to carry around. So think of it like that. That's why chorizo is great. They come in a packet that you can scrunch up or bury quite easily. Yeah, stuff like that. Cereal bars, non-perishables. Oats, awesome. That's how the Highlanders used to just survive off of oats that they would find a cow or something, bleed the cow, mix it with the oats, and you've got black pudding then. Yeah, oats are great. So that's the side pouches done. So I'm quite lucky with this Bergen. I've got these admin pouches, which gives me a lot of freedom. Makes my admin quite easy. So it saves you having to dig everything out of your Bergen all the time. So I'm going to put this in here. So obviously space efficient. Cooking utensil and water receptacle. Might spork in there too. And notice how, again, to get these out, what you need to do is you ask a mate, say you're still walking, to get it out for you. Then you've got your water. This is the other one. Not enough room for this. There you go. Nice and snug. So with this as well, there's something that's known as battle rattle. You don't want that. You don't want to hear a clink, clink, clink sound with every step. It's going to be annoying, and it also creates a lot of noise, which you might not want. So make sure everything's nice and tight like that. Yeah, you don't want clinking noises. So we'll do a test for that afterwards. We'll go up and down with it on. You don't want to hear that kind of clinking noise. We'll diagnose what it is. Yeah, that all goes in there. Trenching tool, again, something that's a bit annoying if it's buried deep in your Bergen. So you need to go for what is known as a shovel recce, i.e. going to the toilet. It's not something you want to dig out half your stuff when you're dying to go. So yeah, the rest of the admin pouches. So again, things you might want quickly, a little bit of fuel, and then also your knife and your lighter and head torch. Waterproof your head torch as well. It's in the bag there. I've actually put it in a proper waterproof bag. Then your admin stuff. Again, it's useful just for your brain because you might get tired and not be able to think. Designate a pouch for each thing. So this one, I know that's my kind of tools. This one's my hygiene stuff, and that's my repair, boot repair / body repair stuff. So when you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and you've only had 3 hours sleep in a sleeping bag and it's cold, you're not exactly going to be at your cognitive best. Also, you're looking at the time it's taking me to do this, and this is pretty premeditated. So whenever you're going on trips, whatnot, lots of time for packing your kit, because again, I've had the pleasure of the benefit of premeditating all of this. You might have journey specific kit and you're not sure quite how to pack it, so definitely a lot more time than you think you need. So the next things to go in the top flap, so they're all over here. So by underneath the top flap, I mean just in this little pouch here. These are things you don't really need. Again, this is why you don't need frequently. This is why it's underneath here. Yeah, so that to get into here, you need to stop, take your Bergen off, unclip it, stuff like that. So things that you would carry normally on the person. Map case, we're not going to include that. Compass, phone case, notepad and pen, debatable. That can go in there. This can go in there. Cool. So this is all it is here. Your quickies can come in here though. So what will go in here is your extra pens, your quickies, your batteries, your survival bags. Hopefully you won't need this unless it's an emergency. It goes in here. Spare watch. Kind of your miscellaneous survival camping equipment. Things you're not going to need unless you stop to do some sort of repairs. Or stop to take your Bergen off. Again, make sure the batteries and everything's kind of tightly packed so it's not going to rattle around. And these are waterproof, so they need to be waterproof. Those are waterproof bags. So obviously you're going to want anything electrical. Again, this is rudimentary, just a proof, demonstration of concept. You might want a better waterproof bag for your portable charger. So that's most of that done. The next thing will be to do your shelter and whatnot. So this goes in the top. If you think about it, the rain comes down, doesn't it? So if you have your waterproof shelter at the top, in the top flap that comes down, one, it's quickly accessible if you need it quickly because it's the first thing you set up when you set up camp, and also it's protecting the top of your Bergen to anything underneath it. Within reason, obviously rain comes in left and right, especially this part of the world. It goes in there. That's just almost done. And if you are taking a day sack, you're not going to carry it like a handbag. What you do is you put it underneath the top flap again. This is why top flaps are awesome. Ignore the fact that I've not chopped that off yet. And it goes on like that. And then boom, Bob's your uncle. And that is your Bergen pretty much good to go. So what you would do after this now, I won't bore you any longer, but you tape off these with your sniper tape. You won't take this out with you, this would be unnecessary to take it out, unless you've got a really small roll. So tape up these, tape up all these loose ends. Do your pouches, don't crow it, don't make any rookie errors like that. And then shake it, jump up and down with it on. Make sure there's no rattle, it's not going to annoy you. Make sure the weight's well distributed. If you've got anything particularly heavy, for example, we use the example of bringing candlesticks to mass rocks, and this is why we're doing this. In case you need to go somewhere remote, carrying something heavy, try and have that as close to the top of the Bergen as possible. If it's near the bottom, you're going to be walking around like this. Okay, the weight needs to be as close to your shoulders as possible, really, so near the top. That's the best way to hold it. So yeah, there's no about rattle there. Yeah, it's all good. Before we finish off, just talking about food for the Friday. Try and arrive with your camp food. So enough for 2 days. We're not going to overindulge. So the food is not going to be a big part of this, but obviously you're going to need enough. So your dry stuff, non-perishables, reduce the amount of packaging and plastic in tins and stuff like that. Bear in mind, you don't want to be having to take tin openers and stuff with you. But I'll leave that out of common sense. I think you know what I mean by non-perishable and basically no meal deals, nothing like that. That's it. If you've got any questions, you know where I am on Telegram. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to a good camp. See you later, lads.